Hi, this is Robot for ScooterWest.com. I'm going to show how to put the OEM top case on this brand new 300 Super here. This top case has kind of been the same top case I've used since the GT200. A couple things you got to do to it to prepare the scooter and the top case for installation. Includes a pair of keys. Sometimes they're in a little bag hanging off to the side, and the thing is they're attached to each other. You can take a knife or just rip the actual little tab right off and have the two separate keys. Insert the key, turn it clockwise, and it opens up. Some of the tools needed to install the factory top case will be, you'll need some type of driver. I use a power driver with a torque limiter, but you can use standard hand drivers. You'll need a number 3 Phillips, a T30 Torex driver, a 4mm Allen, and a 5mm Allen. To pry some of the plastic parts, you need a small flat blade screwdriver. To remove the little Vespa chrome cover, you'll need a real short number 2 Phillips driver. To drill out the holes in the top case, best to use a 5/16 or 9/32 drill bit. Need a 10mm wrench to hold the nylon locking nuts for the bottom of the top case. You'll need a pair of diagonals to pry out the little chrome covers that are in the grab rail and on the rear rack. And last, you'll need an M6 tap to chase the threaded holes that are on the grab rail and rear rack. First, we got to prepare the top case. There's 4 holes that we got to drill out on the bottom side, and I using the included bubble wrap to protect the paint finish on it. Four holes need to be drilled out right here. Take a 5/16 or 8mm drill bit and drill them out. These ones I already did, but so all those get drilled out. If you were installing this on a GT200, you'd drill the center hole out and not the 4 other screws here. So we have this prepared for installation. Now we need to prepare the scooter for the installation of the included rack. On the grab rail, you can see there's little chrome buttons that cover up some threaded holes on these. Take a pair of dikes and get in between the actual chrome grab rail and the little chrome cover and pry those right out. Sometimes the threads aren't so hot in these things. Best to take a M6 by 1.0 pitch tap and just chase the threaded holes here. I already did the other one, but oftentimes you pull it out and you can see there's a lot of rust and shavings that get pulled out with it. You may want to blow them out. The little chrome cover here is retained by 1 screw. The easiest way to do it is with a real short little Phillips screwdriver. You'll need to remove these 2 fasteners, T30 Torex drivers. These screws will get reused. You can see they got a star washer and a flat washer. Set the rack in place, and there's going to be the 2 fasteners that go into the grab rail. And sometimes you won't be able to get them to line up, such in this case here. We're kind of struggling with the second fastener. You may need to enlarge these holes with, use the 9/32 drill bit to enlarge these holes here, and that will allow the rack to fit a little bit better. Sometimes you need to step up to as large as a 5/16 drill bit to get the fit of these 2 screws to line up with the threaded holes on the grab rail here. All right, the 2 screws going into the grab rail in place. Then you want to reinstall the 2 screws that are at the bottom mounting bracket here. So those you need to reattach with or reinstall with the T30 Torex driver here. Then the 2 other fasteners use a 4mm hex drive bit tighten them up. So kind of go back and forth. With the folding rack, you no longer need these plastic stops here. You could use a flat bladed screwdriver to pry them out. There's 3 of them total. And next we'll install the bracket that actually holds down the rack. Install 2 of the clips. This is the bottom piece here. And you can see there's a little indentation. You press these speed nut clips right into place. I'm going to drop the rack down. Then you line up the upper piece here. Hold that in place. You have 3 screws that look like this. You want to put the wave washers on them. Use a number 3 screwdriver. You want to get them all started first. Then you remove the 2 chrome caps here, one on each side. Again, you want to use the M6 tap. Make sure the holes are cleaned out. I set the top case in place. Make sure everything lines up. If they don't line up, you may need to loosen this little plastic piece and shift it ever so slightly. Before you install top case, you want to take the 2 longer spacers. They actually pop into these holes here. Use this small hammer, tapping them into place. And top case, it actually hooks onto the back of the rack. If you're struggling with the lineup, you can see there's a hook back here that's got a hook onto the back section. And now everything's lined up. Install the screws. There's 2 longer screws, 2 shorter shoulder screws here. The shoulder screws go in the back, and it's best just to get them started. So those are started. You could drop the 2 longer screws in. And the next step is to take these square nuts and underneath pop them into the wells, and you could start the screws into them. Once you get the square nut started, you can thread the nylon locking nut on there, on both of them. And I'm going to hold the nylock nut with a wrench and go ahead and tighten the screw here. Tighten the last 2 screw fasteners up in here, and the top case is now secured to the actual rack. I want to make sure the top case latches. See, sometimes it's not quite latching, and you want to look to see where the striker hits, and sometimes you need to move it a little bit forward, and it's got a little bit of give to it to bend it back and forth. And you can see it still isn't quite working perfectly. Sometimes you got to give the lid a little bit of a adjustment to get it where it works just perfect. The original bar ends need to be removed. You'll need a 4mm Allen fastener or driver to remove them. And the new larger bar ends that are included with the top case come with a longer screw that needs a 5mm Allen to drive them in. And also it's a good idea to apply some blue Loctite to the threads.